Liverpool are champions of England yet again, of course, making it the 20th time they've been kings of England, of course, in the top flight of English football. But what will go on in the race for Champions League, of course, as the relegation matters are already over, it's a bit of an anticlimactic end to the season, but we're coming at you next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video today. It's all about match number 35, that's right, in the Premier League. With Liverpool already crowned champions, of course, who will join them in the Champions League next season? That's probably the main talking point left of a bit of anticlimactic Premier League season. We'll get to that in a minute. Of course, make sure you subscribe, smash the like wherever you are in the world. And, of course, a big shout out to the members and the patrons. Your one-stop shop for world football, Premier League, Babylon Rovers, all here under one roofski. Of course, Premier League is over, but the race to top four is hot to bloody trot. So let's take a little look at the situation in the Premier League and the results from last time around. So here we go, guys. These were the results. Man City with a 2-1 win over Villa to keep their top four dreams on track. It's actually going to be quite a tight race for that top four spots at the moment. Meanwhile, Arsenal could only draw with Crystal Palace 2-2 in the end. Chelsea with a 1-0 win over Everton. They're also in that top four race as well, but they also could pick up a bit of silverware themselves in the Conference League. Meanwhile, Brighton over Albion with a 3-2 win over West Ham and the Graham Potter derby. Newcastle with a 3-0 win over Ipswich. That confirms their relegation. Fulham with a 2-1 win over Southampton. Wolves with a 3-0 win over Leicester. They could be a nice little team next season. Wolves, we'll see about that. Bournemouth with a draw against Manchester United. And Liverpool put 5 past Tottenham to win the title. Now, there is another game to be had. That's on Thursday, the 1st of May, or I believe there or thereabouts. So we'll have to wait about that one. So, but anyway, that could affect that top four race, of course, as you see it on my graphic right about now. A win for Forest could put them into third spot with that. So they've got a game in hand, but it is looking quite tight, and that dream of Champions League football might be a bridge too far for Nottingham Forest at the moment. But who knows? Heading into the, what we got here? We got 4 games left, including this one, for the remainder of the season. So this is the state of play. We know the teams are going down. That's done and dusted. I'd love to see Manchester United, though, finishing 17th. That'd be absolutely a hoot. Anyway, the Super Bowl is on like Donkey Kong. Keep doing your thing. We'll bring you bang up to date the next time I see you, but we're not doing it today because we're going to be focusing on the games quickly. I'm backlogged here. So we're going to come in at you starting on 2nd of May, which is a Friday. It's Man City, it's Wolves, it's coming at you at the Etihad. That's right, Man City are in the FA Cup final. That may or may not be their only bit of silverware they get this season. We'll see, of course, where that comes around. But they're coming into this on 92% form. They sit 4th, 61 points for the season. They went 4 on the spin, unbeaten in at least the last 6, if not more than that. However, they're not the form team in the division. Wolves are the form team in the division. They won 6 on the bounce, 100% form, and they are 13th right now with 41 points. They played Man City 33 times since 1996, 19 wins for City, 11 wins for Wolves. There's been 3 draws between the two sides. Last time around at the Etihad, it was a 5-1 win for Man City way back in May 2024. The reverse fixture at Molineux was a 2-1 win for City. That was back in October. Wolves can cause them some problems, though. They have got a victory under the belt over the last 6. And right now it's the time to not play Wolves because Wolves are on fire. Picking up a 3-0 win over Leicester most recently. Back-to-back clean sheets for Wolves. Man City on the back of that 2-0 win over Forest in the FA Cup semi-final. The bookies odds will give it to Man City. Unfortunately, I'm going to give it to them as well, but I'd like to see Wolves get the W. That would be fantastic for the race for top 4. Meanwhile, Villa are still in that race for top 4. They're going to be taking on Fulham this weekend at Villa Park. Of course, their Champions League and FA Cup dreams are now over. In what was a promising season's now looking like it's going to end a bit anticlimactic here. Villa, though, are 7th with 57 points. Back-to-back defeats for them up against Fulham under Marco Silva, who are 8th right now, 51 points. 2 wins and 2 defeats in the last 4. They played Villa 41 times since 2001. 18 wins for Villa, 12 wins for Fulham. There's been 11 draws between the two sides. Last time around at Villa Park, it was a 3-1 win for Aston Villa back in November 2023. In fact, Villa have won 5 on the spin against Fulham, including the reverse fixture back in October at Fulham. 3-1 win as it was for Villa. Villa, though, on the back of a 3-0 loss to Crystal Palace. Goodness gracious me. Fulham on the back of that 2-1 away win to Southampton. Of course, the odds here, Villa are fancied for the victory here to continue their recent good form against Fulham. They need to get back to winning ways and fast. I've gone with a 2-0 win. Villa taking the points and keeping whatever dream they have alive. Everton up against already relegated Ipswich Town. Can we see these relegated teams now click into gear as, of course, the pressure is off because they're already down? We'll see. Everton under David Moyes are 15th right now, 38 points for the season, back-to-back defeats, just one win in the last 6. Up against Ipswich under Kieran McKenna, just one win in the last 6. They sit 18th with 21 points. They played Everton 9 times since 1993, 4 wins Everton, 3 wins Ipswich. There's been 2 draws between the two sides. Last time around at Goodison Park, it was a 2-1 win for Ipswich way back in February 2002. The reverse fixture at Portman Road was a 2-0 win for Everton. Everton on the back of that 1-0 win, 1-0 loss, to Chelsea. It's actually been back-to-back games without a goal for Everton. Ipswich also on the back of back-to-back games without a goal, conceding 7 in the last 2, including 3-0 loss against Newcastle United. The odds on this one, Everton are hotly fancied on this one. I've gone with a 1-0 win as well. I was hoping Ipswich might get some more points on the board, but I think they're, it's not going to be many more added to the tally. Meanwhile, Leicester up against Southampton, 2 relegated sides, locking horns, of course. Question marks under Ruvan Nistelrooy's future, still around the place. Leicester, 19th right now, 18 points for the season, up against Southampton. Simon Rusk back in charge, 11 points for the campaign, and of course, not good at the moment. Played 49 times these two sides since 1994, 21 wins for Leicester, 16 wins for Southampton, 12 draws between the two sides. Last time around, over at the King Powers, a 5-0 win for Leicester back in April 2024. That was in the Championship. Leicester have actually won 3 on the spin against Southampton, including the reverse fixture at St Mary's. 3-2 it was way back in October. Leicester, though, on the back of that 3-0 loss to Wolves, back-to-back games without a goal. Fulham on the back of that 2-1 win over Southampton. Southampton did pick up a draw the last time they were on the road. They've actually got a couple of draws of late. The odds for this one, though, is tight, very, very tight, and this could be a chance for Southampton to get a win, a long overdue win, but Leicester are fancy with the bookies. I've gone with a 2-1 win as well for Leicester, which continues a bit of a really rough stuff there for Leicester. Arsenal, they're next up. They're taking on Bournemouth, coming out of the Emirates. It's all off here, but of course it still could be the best season in a long time, if not ever, for Arsenal with the Champions League on the horizon. That match, of course, taking place this week. Arsenal under Mikel Arteta, they sit second, 67 points for them, are unbeaten in the last 6 matches. Up against Bournemouth and the Areola, unbeaten in the last 4. They sit 10th. 50 points for the season. They played Arsenal 17 times since 2015, 13 wins for Arsenal, 2 wins for Bournemouth, and there's been 2 draws between the two sides. Last time they played at this very venue was a 3-0 win for Arsenal way back in May 2024. The reverse fixture, a 2-0 win for Bournemouth back in October. Goodness gracious me. Arsenal, though, on the back of that 2-2 draw against Palace, they're taking on PSG tonight, of course. Bournemouth picking up that draw against Manchester United, back-to-back draws for them heading into this match, of course. The odds right here, right now, Arsenal massively fancied, of course. They should win this game, even though there's nothing much to fight for. But to remain in that top 2 spots will be something, because it's quite heated behind them, over the shoulder. Meanwhile, Brentford, they're taking on Manchester United on Sunday. May the 4th be with you. Brentford under Tommy Frank are 11th right now, 46 points for the season, just 1 defeat in the last 5. Up against Manchester United under Ruben Amorim, just 1 win in the last 6. They are sitting 14th with 39 points. They played Brentford 8 times since 2021. 1 win for Brentford, 5 for Manchester United. There's been 2 draws. Manchester United could be in Champions League football next season if they were to win the Europa League, and that's what's going to take focus this week on Thursday. But they're going to take on Brentford. When they last played at this very venue, it ended up being 1-1 draw. That was back in March 2024. The reverse fixture at Old Trafford was a 2-1 win for Manchester United back in October. United on the back of that 1-1 draw at Bournemouth. Brentford with that 4-2 win over Brighton. Again, Bilbao, Man United is the focus in the San Mams this coming Thursday. But the odds for this game, Brentford are actually hotly fancy for this one. Again, Amundsen's been not bashful about playing the youngsters, so I'm going with a 2-1 win for Brentford on this one. Again, it does improve the chances that Man United could finish the point of position above the drop zone. Imagine that. That would be absolutely hilarious. Anyway, Brighton up against Newcastle United at the Amex, of course. Brighton under Fabian Hutzler are 9th right now, 51 points for the season, just 1 win though in the last 6. Up against Newcastle under Eddie Howe, just 1 defeat in the last 6. They sit 3rd, 62 points for the season. It's been a strong season. They won the EFL Cup. That's something to get excited about, but they want more than that. They played Brighton 21 times since 2012. 9 wins Brighton, 5 wins Newcastle. 7 draws between the two sides. Last time around at the Amex, it was a 3-1 win for Brighton way back in September 2023. They already played each other twice this season, both at St James's Park, and back-to-back wins for Brighton. In fact, Brighton are unbeaten against Newcastle over the last 4, including a 1-0 win for Brighton at St James's Park back in October, and in the FA Cup, 2-1 winners for Brighton after extra time in the 5th round of the FA Cup. Brighton on the back of that 3-2 win over Graham Potter's West Ham, and Newcastle on the back of that 3-0 win over Ipswich Town. The odds for this one, though, Very tight. Newcastle just edged it on the road. I've gone with a 2-0 win there for Brighton to continue that recent good bit of form against the Geordies into the final three. It's an all-London affair. It's West Ham. It's Spurs. It's a bit of a miserable one, isn't it? Both these two sides. West Ham under Graham Potter 17th for the table, 36 points for the season. They're winless in the last 7 under Tottenham. Ange Postecoglou just 1 win the last 5. Again, all focus on the Europa League. They could be playing Champions League football, and of course they might get a bit of silverware at the end of the season. But it's looking dismal in the Premier League. They sit 16th right now, 37 points for the season. They played the Hammers 64 times since 1993. 21 wins for West Ham, 31 wins for Tottenham. There's been 12 draws between the two sides. Last time around over at the Hammers, it was a 1-1 draw way back in April 2024. The reverse fixture, a 4-1 win for Tottenham at the Fancy Pants Stadium back in October. West Ham on the back of that 3-2 loss to Brighton. Spurs on the back of that 5-1 loss to Liverpool. Goodness gracious me. The odds right here right now, it is tight. West Ham got the edge with the bookies. I've gone with the 2-1 win as well for the Hammers, as focus is purely on Europa League, you would imagine. Then we go to a game which could have been massive if it got dragged over to this game. It could have really put a bit different spin on the title race, but realistically, it means nothing now. Chelsea under Enzo Marquesco, they sit 5th right now, 60 points for the season, just 1 defeat in the last 6. Up against Liverpool, who are top. They will cannot be caught. 82 points, 67% form. They won 3 on the spin. They played 88 times since 1993. 31 wins for Chelsea, 33 wins for Liverpool, and there's been 24 draws. Last time around at Chelsea in the league, it was a 1-1 draw way back in August 2023. The reverse fixture, 2-1 win as it was for Liverpool back in October at Anfield. Of course, Liverpool unbeaten against Chelsea over the last 6, 3 wins and 3 draws, and they're coming into on the back of that 5-1 win over Spurs. Chelsea, though, big win for themselves over Everton, and they've got Conference League semi-final on the agenda where they need to keep the focus on that, you would imagine. Bookies, though, they'll give it to Chelsea. Liverpool will be in party mode and probably, play some youngsters. So I'm actually going to give it to Chelsea 2-0 winners, which, again, if results earlier, just slightly gone into this game, it would have dragged on a little bit longer, and then the hope might have been raised once again with Arsenal. And then finally, we go Crystal Palace up against Nottingham Forest coming at Selhurst Park. Palace under Glasner, 12th in the table, 45 points for the season, unbeaten in the last 3. Up against Forest under Nuno Espirito Santo, they've won 3 and lost 3 over the last 6. They sit 6th with 60 points. Palace, though, have played Forest 30 times since 1993. 6 wins Palace, 15 wins Forest. There's been 9 draws between the two sides, including the last time they played at Selhurst Park, 0-0 draw back in October. The reverse fixture at the City Ground was a 1-0 win for Forest way back in October. Palace, though, on the back of that 3-0 win over Villa in the FA Cup. Forest losing themselves in the FA Cup, though, to Man City. The odds for this one, though, it is tight. Palace actually edge it here. The bookies are backing the host. I'm also going to back the host with the 2-1 win, which really does put the cat amongst the pigeons for the race for Champions League. This is the table as it will look like. Again, Forest taking on Brentford. I think I put a Forest victory in this graphic here. So they would still be in 5th spot within 1 point of 3rd. And of course, we already know who's going down and beyond. That's it, guys. That's what I've got. Make sure you subscribe, smash the like. We'll catch you later very, very soon for the penultimate. Well, it's actually 3 games left after this. But we'll see you soon. Until then, I'm out of here. Be safe and subscribe.